Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Stevie G94, back with another reaction video. Today, we're going to react to the biggest what ifs in Royal Rumble history. This should be interesting. It's about wrestling gifts. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Ever since the 90s, the Royal Rumble event has historically been the second biggest show of the year. Not only is it a night full of surprises, but it's the night where feuds, title matches, and the main event for WrestleMania are often set in place. And when a show has such importance and such a long history, there is bound to be tons of lore that surrounds this event, from plans that were changed last minute to what ifs. This single event has dictated so much in WWE history. So recently, I decided to go back and take a look at some of that lore, and I found some old rumors and reports of all these things that almost happened at Royal Rumble pay-per-views of the past. Things that just make you go like, wait, what if that actually happened? And some of these are so insane that we gotta talk about it. Let's get into it. We begin with the first Rumble pay-per-view of the millennium, Royal Rumble 2000. This, as we know, is a very iconic and special show. It was the night where Triple H became a man. It was the night where The Rock and Big Show botched the ending for the most important match of the year. But this night originally had very different plans, and honestly, the entire year of 2000 in the company was supposed to be very different. In November 99, Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was the biggest star in wrestling, was severely injured and was written off television. But before being written off, he was planned to go straight into the main event of WrestleMania, but in a way that seems so insane to think about looking back at it. According to a Dave Meltzer report from 1999, and this, by the way, was before Dave went insane, this was actually when he was the most reliable source of wrestling news, the original plans during this time were for Stone Cold Steve Austin to turn heel in December of 1999 and then go on to beat Triple H for the title at Royal Rumble 2000 at MSG, and then go on to WrestleMania 2000 and in the main event put over The Rock as the face of the company. Stone Cold Steve Austin, yes, the Stone Cold Steve Austin almost turned heel in late 1999, and Triple H's night, Royal Rumble 2000.
I mean, it made sense. It made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense. It would have fucked over Triple H in the long run, because if he don't get his match, then I don't know where Triple H goes at this point. It fucks over Triple H, but I still think Triple H would probably still get his just due, considering the fact that The Rock and Stone Cold still leave. So Triple H would still be that guy to be next up. So it is what it is. But it would have made a lot more sense than what they did in 2001. I'd rather them go through that formula than what they did in 2001, because what they did in 2001 was some bullshit.
At the Garden was supposed to be Austin winning the title as a heel. What the hell? Imagine how different everything would have been if this actually went down. When Austin turned heel in 01, it was a very controversial decision. Imagine that a year before. Austin as a heel in 2000, the whole year changes. Does Triple H become who he ended up becoming without that Foley match? Do they even align him with Steph in December to push him for the Rumble? How is Triple H without the WrestleMania main event in 2000? And how does a heel Austin work in 2000? Everything would have been so different. And this wasn't even just Meltzer saying this. I even found an article from the Chicago Sun-Times, yes, a real newspaper from November of 99, talking about how this is a possible plan for Rumble 2000. The fact that they even thought and even considered Austin as a heel in 99 and 2000, it just seems so crazy to me. Like, there was no need for that, but apparently they thought about it. But moving on to 2003, this was something that I found that was so interesting and is really fun to think about. We know that in 2004 at the Rumble, it was teased for the first time that The Undertaker was coming back as the Dead Man at WrestleMania 20, and that's exactly what happened. But what is often forgotten is, a lot of fans thought the Dead Man was coming back as early as Royal Rumble 2003. In October of 02, Undertaker left for a break after his legendary match with Lesnar in the Hell in a Cell, and it was pretty much expected that he was going to come back at Rumble 03. He wasn't injured or anything, he was just taking time off to relax, and he frankly deserved it after having a pretty solid 2002. However, things got very trippy and very interesting when they aired a return promo on the first episode of SmackDown in 2003, and a promo ended up being a straight montage and tribute to the Dead Man. For a 2003 Undertaker promo, this was pretty interesting to look back at, because there is absolutely no reference or footage of American Badass Undertaker. There is no footage of Undertaker post 2000 in this promo. It was filled with footage from the 90s, and only footage from the 90s. No biker, no bandana, no nothing, just straight Dead Man Taker. And they had all this scary text, and they were like, "Darkness consumes the light and beckons his return. The Dead Man walks again." And everyone at the time went nuts. Oh my god, Dead Man Taker's coming back. Taker's gonna go back to being the dead man, oh my god. And to this day, if you find this promo on YouTube and you go to the comments, everyone who watched it at the time felt the same way. Quote, I remember seeing this live. I got excited because I thought the Deadman gimmick was coming back. And to follow it up, the next week they dropped another one, a different one, but once again just 90s Deadman footage, and they kind of doubled down on it because at the end it said Royal Rumble, the Deadman returns. Rumors started going crazy, and honestly, can you really blame anyone? If I was watching SmackDown in January of 03 and I saw this, I'm 100% assuming the Deadman's coming back. Community was on fire, casual viewers even thought this was happening, and it seemed like they were directly signaling to us, Deadman Taker is coming back. And Dave Meltzer even mentioned how on the website, they went out of their way to change Taker's hometown from Texas back to Death Valley. But then it was all blown up when on the final SmackDown before the Rumble for the last promo, no more 90s footage, no more Deadman references or walking again or rising again. It was straight Big Evil Undertaker, and the final text was changed to the Badass returns. And to me, this is like either they were testing the waters to see the reaction, the rumors, the feedback to the Deadman, or it was planned and then it got thrown out. Because if you combine how fast the turnaround would have been from...
Well, according to Taker, he said he didn't want to bring the Deadman back. He wanted to stay as Biker Taker, but Vince just wasn't going for it, and Vince had to do a lot of persuading for him to go back to the Deadman, and eventually Taker just gave in and said, you know what, alright, I'll do it, whatever. So yeah, according to Taker, he really didn't want to come back as the Deadman. He really wanted to stay as Biker Taker, which wasn't bad. It is what it is, but I mean, with the storylines we got and how iconic his character became going back to the Deadman, I think it was the best. I think Vince knew something. I think Vince knew what was best for Taker. I think Taker just had to understand.
Oh, Taker, Biker to Deadman, it seemed really fast. I'm assuming there was a lot of planning that would go into turning Taker back into the Deadman, and then you add in the fact that Undertaker didn't really want to be the Deadman again. Even in 2004, he was very hesitant to go back to his old gimmick. Maybe it was something that was brought up and planned but eventually scrapped, or obviously it could just be a coincidence, but I definitely think there was something here. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think at the very least they wanted to test the waters for the Deadman gimmick, but it's like, what if? Imagine it's the 03 Rumble and Taker comes back number 30 like he actually did, but as the Deadman. It would have been the craziest shit ever, one of the best returns ever, and one of the most unexpected things ever, even with the promos. And imagine how a different 03 SmackDown would have been and beyond if it was the Deadman. The matches, the promo, and it's like, wait, if he does come back like that, does he win? It's hard to imagine him losing after making an epic return like that. I think that's the biggest major flag where it's like, yeah, probably not. But then again, it's like, there was a lot of smoke. I think it not happening was for the best. I don't think the company was ready for it. How they did in 04 was perfect and way better, and everything worked out. But still, it's crazy to think, what if the Deadman actually came back in 2003? It would have been nuts. But let's move on to 2007. It is widely known that the original plan for this show when 2007 started were for Triple H to win the Rumble. Yes, Triple H was originally supposed to win the 2007 Rumble, but after his injury at New Year's Revolution, everything pivoted and Undertaker ended up winning the match, and it ended up being a classic, no doubt a top 5 Rumble ever. But what if Triple H didn't get injured and did win the 07 Rumble? Guys, the plans they had for this made no sense whatsoever, and WrestleMania 23 would have been so weird. Triple H and Cena would have ran it back in the main event for the WWE title. We still would have got Batista and Taker, but with HBK being left out of the main event, the original plan for him was to be involved in the Battle of the Billionaires. Yes, remember Umaga with Vince versus Bobby Lashley with Trump? Yeah, well, that match was something way different. Quote, although the plan had been for Michaels versus King Booker with Vince McMahon and Donald Trump in their corners, on January 22nd, that was changed as Vince McMahon asked Michaels what he thought about facing John Cena in a singles match for the title. The company recognized Michaels had caught fire after the Triple H injury and needed to be in a higher profile match. Yes, this match right here was originally supposed to be Shawn Michaels with Trump versus King Booker with Vince, and nah. As crazy as this might sound, thank God Triple H got injured. Sir, the sacrifice of your quads, my good sir, will not be forgotten.
Not at all.
Dying, it really...
Not at all. Your quads died for a greater cause, Triple H. I understand your quads tore themselves apart for a greater cause. You needed to sit on the sidelines for this one because we needed that. If you don't sit on the sidelines, we don't get that amazing match from Shawn Michaels and John Cena. We don't. So, sir, your sacrifice will not be. Your sacrifice was beneficial to us all. Thank you so much for your patronage.
Stupid bitch!
Really saved us. I don't think anyone wanted to see Triple H versus Cena episode 2, especially when it was rumored that Triple H was gonna get his win back at Mania. The HBK and Cena feud ended up being perfect, and why the hell was HBK versus King Booker even suggested, let alone planned? And it all changed because of Triple H's injury. Had he not got injured, he most likely would have won the Rumble. The iconic Rumble match and ending, along with everything we know WrestleMania 23 for, would have been so different. Honestly, thank you for your sacrifice, Trips. Speaking of sacrifice, let's talk about 2008. This one is so insane, so hard to believe, but at the same time, what if? As we know, the 08 Rumble is legendary because Cena came back at number 30, MSG epic legendary moment. We know that, but apparently according to CM Punk, back when he was under contract with Fox and was on backstage, back when he apparently hated the company and all that stuff, he told the world that he was supposed to win the 2008 Rumble, and Cena's return changed everything. This just sounds so straight up insane, but at the same time, it's like, why would Punk lie about this for no reason on national TV? Now, I get it. Listen, I get it better than most people. Wrestlers lie, lies wrestle, never trusted a wrestler or whatever. Wrestlers are all carnies. But Punk has always been the guy who's been loud and proud about how the company hated him in his first run and held him down. It's like, why would he make it up? This goes against his agenda. Unless he was told this, and the people backstage were just straight up f***ing with him. But it's definitely fascinating to look deeper into this and connect some dots. At first, it's like, wait, you were on ECW, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but Vince was never gonna let an ECW wrestler win the Rumble. But then it's like, wait, he did drop the ECW title a week before Rumble, pretty convenient. And he did go on to win the Money in the Bank at Mania the same year, a few months later. Maybe that was their way of making it up to him. It's weird. Could it be true? Probably. Could it not be? I lean towards no. But this just blew my mind though when I found this out. Imagine if Punk had won the Rumble and then he went on to verse Edge for the title at WrestleMania, because Edge did technically help Chavo win the ECW title from Punk. The story is kind of there, but no, I can't.
Yeah.
My brain cannot comprehend this, whether it's true or not. Probably not. We're never gonna know. Higher ups maybe were going around saying this, so the Cena win wouldn't leak and it'd be even more of a surprise. I don't know. But regardless, what if this actually happened and CM Punk won the 08 Rumble? When it comes to 2009, there is a very common one, and we just covered this show a few days ago, but rumors were rampant going into this show that Christian was supposed to return and be the one behind the Jeff Hardy attacks instead of Matt Hardy and help Edge win the title, reuniting Edge and Christian. But see, the problem is, that makes too much sense. Instead, as we know, Christian came back a few weeks later to ECW of all places. Christian, who had been gone for 3+ years in TNA, winning world championships, having great matches, proving that he was a top level guy, comes out on ECW just for Todd Grisham to announce his return like Yoshi Tatsu had just appeared from catering.
It's Christian!
Yo, what a downgrade. Poor Christian. We had so many expectations. The fans wanted this. It was right there for him. Everything was right there. But like, nah, you're going straight to ECW.
So we would have had probably one of the most amazing storylines going into. Damn, dog, they fucked up a good storyline. That's a good storyline. Edge and Christian coming back together. Then they got Vicky Guerrero at their helm. And then you got Matt and Jeff getting screwed over and fighting for their lives. Bro, that's a great storyline. They fucked up. They should have dropped. Yo, they should have went all in on that one, bro. They should have went all in on that one, except for this bullshit with Matt Hardy turning on Jeff.
Delete! 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 Delete!
Fat Hardy's gonna pull up. He's gonna screw Jeff Hardy. Like, really? You guys couldn't have held it down for once? Christian should have definitely been the one helping Edge. Him in the main event scene on SmackDown in 09, which was so dry, would have been perfect. They could have ran back Hardy's versus Edge and Christian at the February pay-per-view. It could have even led to, of course, Edge versus Christian. Anything. But no. Why would we do that? When it comes to 2011, I honestly couldn't find any rumors or any alternate plans for the 2011 Rumble. These idiots really loved Del Rio, didn't they? But if you remember, the Rumble's runner-up that year was Santino Marella, of all people. And I guess, like, listen, if we're doing what ifs, imagine if Del Rio somehow botched this or some shit, or they did like a different spot and Del Rio slipped and somehow Santino won the Rumble. That would have been amazing. That would have been 10 times better than whatever the hell we actually got. Yeah, like Del Rio, no, I'm sorry. 2011 was a dark time. 2011 though is a very interesting Rumble. All I remember from this match is watching it live and praying and hoping that Jericho was winning and being absolutely shocked when Sheamus pulled it through. That was a really good final two though, I remember that. Well, the original plan was even more shocking. Actually, I don't know how shocking because Cena wins LOL wasn't that shocking at the time. This one has always intrigued me, but I'm kind of happy it didn't happen. The original plan was for John Cena to win the Rumble in 2012, going into his match with The Rock at WrestleMania, leading to a storyline up until WrestleMania, where Cena doesn't know if he should go for the title or go for his match against The Rock. I think
Hey, yo, what the
very
fuck?
interesting storyline, adding a lot of depth to Cena's character. Okay, I'm not trying to be a film bro, I don't know what I mean by that. But just adding more intrigue, and the whole point was to add turmoil to Cena. Like, does he choose the match with The Rock, or does he choose a title? What's more important to him? What does he care about? But it's also like, at the same time, the Rock match didn't need more hype. It didn't really need anything else, and it maybe would have devalued the Rumble in a lot of people's eyes. I don't hate the idea. It's different, but I'm kind of happy they didn't do it. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. Lastly, though, speaking of The Rock, this one, who knows? At this point, The Rock is such a tease. I'm surprised he's not a corn star. Wait, what?
Hey, yo,
According to a
yo.
WrestleVotes tweet from 2018,
Hey, yo, what the
he was
fuck?
honestly a really reputable
Hey,
source for
hey,
wrestling
yo.
news on Twitter. If you're on the scene, you've probably seen them before. When it comes to the 2018 Rumble, plan at one point was for The Rock to win the Royal Rumble and face Roman Reigns at Mania. That's obviously not happening. The reports at the time were that once Roman Reigns' leukemia was announced and he went away for his treatment, it was obviously off the table, and The Rock decided against wrestling at all and not wrestling Lesnar, for example. Like I said, I don't know. The Rock has been so unserious about this match for years now. It's been, what, 7-8 years of this, that it also could have just been at this point like, oh yeah, see, we try to get the match, but it's not gonna happen. But that's not the point. The point is, what if this actually happened? If this happened in 2019, this would have been crazy. Before there ever was a tribal chief, before there was ever, heel Roman Reigns. Imagine this actually happened. The butterfly effect would have been crazy. What would have happened in the future? Would there have been a final boss? Would there have been a tribal chief? How does WrestleMania 40 end up? So much would have changed, and even just imagining the match taking place in 2019 is just hilarious. Roman Reigns in 2019 would have been booed out of the goddamn state of New York, not even saying the whole state against The Rock. And the match itself, like, it just would have been so different than how it would have been, for example, in 2022,
They would have booed the shit out of Roman Reigns. Unless they was turning Roman Reigns heel right then and there and having him go into his tribal chief era right then and there. If we would have got his tribal chief era in 2019, I think WWE probably would have been in a good place. If that's what they were going to do with him, if they were going to have him face The Rock. If that had gone through. That would have been good to see his tribal chief era start in 2019 instead of 2020 during the pandemic. So we get it before they shut the world down and we gotta watch it from home and shit. So yeah, that probably would have worked. That probably would have been the best way to make it work. You would have to turn Roman heel, because The Rock is not going to be heel. The crowd is not booing The Rock. So the best thing to do would have been to just pull the trigger on the tribal chief heel Roman Reigns at that point.
2023, the dynamic would have been so off in my opinion. And it's like, at that point, who would have won? Would they have Roman win because obviously, he's the modern guy, but it's like nobody wants Roman to win, everyone's gonna be booing him? Do they have The Rock win? It's very weird to look back at this, especially in the 2019 time period. We will probably never know how close this was to actually happening in 2019, but it's just a trip to think of this match in that time period. But yeah, there you have it. Those are some of the rumors and reports I could find from, Royal Rumble pay-per-views of the past and things that almost happened. I think these are very interesting and fun to think about. In the comments down below, let me know, are there any that I missed that I couldn't find or think of? And also let me know, out of all of these that you see in the comments, which one would you have been the most down for or the most intrigued by? But yeah, let me know down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video.
That Christian one is probably the best one out of all these stories. That Christian one probably would have been fire as fuck. That Christian storyline would have probably been fire as fuck if they pulled the trigger on that one. But it is what it is, though. Anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I'll see you on the next video. Till then, peace out.